And welcome back, everyone, to the Season 5 recap here in South by Southwest. I'm Mr. Cellophane. How are you? I am recording this in the middle of a thunderstorm, so if you hear any extraneous rumbling in the background, it's not my stomach. I did eat dinner tonight. It is the storm going on all around us. Season 5 was our best so far, but it wasn't fantastic. We ended up in 10th place with 13 wins, 12 losses, and 9 draws. 48 points, which beat our previous high of 43 that we received, I think, way back in Season 2. So I felt like we were making some progress this year with the change of system, but I'm not 100% certain it is enough. One of the things that we did improve dramatically on was in our possession. Last year, we were like 15th, 16th in the low 40s. This year, 58% put us 4th best in the league as far as possession was concerned. Headers are still an issue, though. We're only 15th in the league. 44% of our headers won. We won 708 headers, which was over 500 less than the team at the top of the league. Second in yellow cards does not surprise me at all. We had a number of players who got into quite a bit of trouble. I'm looking at you, Leonard Niederlander. 58 yellow cards put us second overall in the league. We committed a total of 397 fouls all told. Only the 2 red cards, which surprises me a little bit, because I could have sworn we had so many more, because it really felt that way. Colton took the lead with 59 goals. We scored our fair share. We were tied for 8th in the league with 42. Only one of them off of a corner, which really stinks. Now, we did get a number, I'm sure, in like the second phase of the corner that probably doesn't count as a corner, but we really do need to be connecting a lot better, and I think the fact that we were 15th in heading probably was a big reason for that. We did, I believe, outperform our XG. We did by 2.25, the 6th best in the league as far as XG over performance was concerned. And they expected us to score less than 40 goals in 34 matches this year. 11th in expected goals for. Non-penalty expected goals for, we were 9th. So a little bit better. That's probably just saying we didn't take a lot of penalties, which we did. We took 1 penalty all year long. We got 1 penalty the entire season. And I'm pretty sure, that's the one Manuel File missed. 15 penalty shooting, had 1 opportunity all year, and could not take it. Our expected non-penalty expected goals per 90, super low at 1.15. That needs to definitely come up in Season 6. Our cross completion was all right, 15%. We were 12th in the league, but tops was only at 18%, so not too bad. We completed the least number of crosses, however, which meant we didn't attempt nearly as many crosses as I thought maybe we did. Only 73 crosses attempted, and since we only connected on 15% of those, can't really do the math in my head, but that ain't great. Goals from corners, Cologne and St. Pauli with 9, Fortuna Dusseldorf, Kaiserslautern with 8 apiece. We were on the bottom with 1. We scored 1 goal off of a direct free kick, which I believe that was Yannick Rochelt, if I am not mistaken. He's pretty good at that kind of thing. And 1 goal off of indirect free kicks, which, that also isn't great, because sometimes those are almost gimmies, especially when they're on the side of the box, because Football Manager doesn't know how to make goalies track those properly. So if you win the header, it's almost a guaranteed goal. Pass completion, we were 5th in the league at 89%, much better. Now, we did shorten up our passing quite a bit. 4th in number of passes completed. 4th in chances created with 100, which just means that we did not take advantage of enough of our chances. 58% of the ball and over 18,000 passes completed, Probably should have done a lot better. Big reason for that is we were 16th in number of shots taken, and shots on target, 17th. I expected us to be near the bottom of the league on that one, just hitting 41% of our shots on target, which put us 13th overall in the league. Our conversion rate was actually pretty good, 15%. So when we did hit the target, it was a 1 in 7, 1 in 8 chance that we were going to actually score. But 1 in 7, 1 in 6.7. Doing quick fake math in my head. We just needed to get more. We averaged 8 shots per match, so that equates to about that 1 goal they were talking about. A lot of fouls against us, though. So even though we did foul a lot, we got fouled even more. We fouled 397 times. We got fouled 457 times. Didn't make a ton of dribbles. We don't really have dribbly guys, so this doesn't surprise me at all. We averaged 9.5 dribbles per game, also putting us in last place. We lost possession the 13th most, or the 13th least. We weren't great in not losing possession. That's the whole point. High intensity sprints, middle of the pack. Final third passes per game, we were third. So we did manage, when we managed to get there, we managed to move the ball around. We just didn't score enough because we didn't take enough shots. We conceded the 9th most amount of goals. Our XG against was 44.96, which was higher than our XG4, which tells you a lot. We conceded 6 goals on corners, and that was super disappointing. There is no stat for how many goals we conceded off of throw-ins, however. I'd be very interested to see those numbers. We were worst in the league at conceding goals on direct free kicks. We gave up 2. We gave up 1 indirect free kick, which tied us for 3rd. We only kept 9 clean sheets in the league, which was good for an 11th place tie with Greuther Fürth, Dynamo Dresden, and Nuremberg. Fouls made, we already covered that. Tackles won, we were 14th. We were 18th in tackles won ratio at 74%. Oy. And I thought a strong part of our year was our defense. We lost a lot of matches by 1-0. We had a couple of... I felt like we kept our opponents to fewer goals than we had in years past. We blocked 165 shots. It was good for 4th. We won possession back. We're kind of middle of the pack there. As far as clearances went, we were 13th. Interceptions, 16th. We conceded 7 penalties. That was 3rd worst in the league. And we faced the 4th worst number of shots, 390 shots against, and I think we only... How many shots do we have? 4? 276. So we were outshot by 118. Not good enough. Lost 888 headers lost, which averaged 26.12 headers lost per match. Opposition passes per defensive action, 4.69. We were in 10th place in that category. Our attendance, though, while 17th in the league, I believe last year was the worst. So go us. We did manage to sell out our stadium one time. We had an average attendance of nearly 9,000, which I believe was a record for us. We also had the lowest attendance of the year at 6,295. So some good, some bad. Net transfer spent, we made almost €1 million. We were in 10th place, and our salary per year, no surprise, 3.05 million less than anybody else. The absolute worst in the league. We don't have a ton of money to work with. By the way, the reason why I didn't go through the official season recap is because this year, Football Manager decided not to give us one. So right now, we have $8 million in the bank. We have a transfer budget of $1.8 million. I think I've reallocated a little bit, and we're currently spending up at our wage, but our wage budget is $139,000. I can't see us spending much, if any, of our transfer budget over the course of the summer, because I pretty much last year signed pretty much anybody who was worth anything, and even some of those guys didn't see any action. We're going to get to the squad in just a second. So most likely we're going to reallocate our transfer budget into the wage budget, because we've got a handful of players that are going to be out of contract. Florian Ballas, the 34-year-old defenseman, is actually retiring at the end of the year, as is Patrick Schmidt. So we are obviously not re-signing them. We've made the decision not to re-sign Tim Boss as our goalkeeper. So we're probably going to have to figure out what to do about a third string, because that just leaves us with Stefan Dryaka and Max Schreiber as viable keepers. We may have somebody that we could potentially bring up from the U18s, but I'm not really sure. So let's look at our squad through the year. Rafael Adieli made 30 starts for us, did not score at all. He's 6'5". He's on the near post for our near post corner routines. He did not do his job on the corners. However, defensively, he was very, very good. A 7.21 rating as a center defensive back, 7.15 overall. He was excellent in the DFB Pokal in our 3 matches as well. His passing is really good, 93% for the year. He won 81% of his tackles, so he was ahead of the curve. He lifted the team up, and he made 55 clearances. His progress, though, he has kind of dipped a little bit now that he's 23 years old. But I think also the team itself around him is getting a little better, so that could be what's going on there. Darkhan Akhmedov, he's got some negative down errors. I believe right now he is on international duty, where we are in the save, or he's training for international duty. So he is out there playing for the Kazakhstan U21 team. He has capped 10 times for them at the U21 level. 2 senior caps as well. Has 1 U21 goal. He was I'm not going to say he was very good for us. However, he was not making obvious mistakes that made him stand out as our left back. 30 appearances. He did have 1 assist. And again, being our width and being our attacking width, only having the 1 assist is a bit problematic. The 8 crossing and dribbling and 9 passing probably had something to do with that. I think he was very good defensively. His passing was okay. Cleared the ball 40 times. 80% of his tackles. Obviously underperformed his XG, not scoring for us in a league match, but 2 assists in 32 competitive appearances. Not bad. I mean, Akhmedov just turned 18, so he's got plenty of time to continue to grow and get better. Theo Arweiler, he was nowhere. We don't need to talk about him. He's he could potentially be our 3rd choice goalkeeper. He was that guy in the U18s, even though he didn't, U19s, even though he really didn't play. Florian Ballas barely saw the pitch. We really wanted to get the minutes in the legs of the younger guys we were trying to develop, like Adieli, Robin Zentner, Manfred Hector to a certain degree. Made 3 starts, 4 total appearances, did score a goal. I believe it was on the corner, so he was our corner goal. Thank you, Florian. I appreciate it. 1 assist as well. Perfect tackling, 100% in all of his appearances, but frankly, he's 35. He's retiring. We don't need to talk about him anymore. Thorsten Basler, don't even know who he is. Tim Boss did not make any actual appearances for the club, just played in friendlies. He was the tertiary backup or the secondary backup to Dryaka and Schreiber. Wasn't expecting him to get any playing time. He's getting a little bit older, which usually for a goalie isn't a problem. However, I lost my trust in him. Pascal Diallo is interesting. Still young, just turned 18 last September, so he'll be 19 just after the season starts. Made 2 starts for us, grand total of 8 appearances, didn't really contribute anything. He was following in the footsteps of Manuel File. He definitely just needs more playing time to get better. His crossing and dribbling still aren't great, but defensively, he knows how to do the job. It's just a matter of if he can do the job. He was also kind of hindered in his minutes because of the acquisition of Frederick Rechtenwald, who we will talk about a little bit later. Stefan Driaka, so very glad he was here. Conceded 36 goals in 32 starts in the league, 2 goals in 3 Pokal appearances. So almost a 1-to-1 ratio, which for Elversberg is absolutely fantastic. Kept 11 clean sheets total, just 1 shy of setting the record. Was kind of hoping to do it in the last match against Grunter Fürth, but we all know how that turned out now, don't we? The 29-year-old will be our starting goalkeeper for next year. Manuel File, maybe 33 years old, but he's a great player. I have no complaints about Manuel File. He gets into some foul trouble. Of one of the red cards. Made 29 starts, 30 overall appearances, scored a goal, 7 assists. That's what we wanted out of our fullbacks. He was getting the job done. Even though he's going to turn 34 next season, I expect him to be our starting right back for the future. Benjamin Frankie, Flynn Frankie, don't know him. Philip Frankie, though, we do. He ended up making a total of 20 appearances for the club, did not contribute offensively. Not sure if we were putting him in the best positions, to be honest with you. 8 of his appearances were as a DM, 8 were as a number 10. So I'm not really sure what to make of him as of yet. I'd like to see what he does next year. I am thinking about making a tactical shape change, which may benefit him and his playing time. Lars Gindorf, very solid. The 26-year-old made 25 starts for us, scored 7 goals, 3 assists, added another one in his 1 DFB Pokal appearance. Managed a rating over 7, which is absolutely fantastic. He was playing the number 10 for us. That's a natural position for him. He's also natural as just a regular old central midfielder. So if we do end up moving to a system that doesn't use a 10, we still have a place in the squad for Lars Gindorf. We'll just have to see what happens tomorrow when we actually get the season kicked off and underway. But one of our best acquisitions, I've got to tell you. I think he's been absolutely worth the $0 that we paid for him. Picking him up was absolutely key for us. Again, we're getting all of these guys that I don't even know who the heck they are. Manfred Hector was out on loan the year before, made 9 appearances as a DM, picked up a pair of assists, 1 in the cup, 1 in the league. Only the 2 starts. Obviously, we had Niederlander and Samir Shaheen that were in that defensive midfielder position. They were pretty solid there as our starters. I think Hector did a pretty nice job coming in and basically filling a role. I mean, as a defensive midfielder, you can see he's up there in his progressive passes, up there in pass completion rating of 88%, 81st percentile in expected assists, won a decent number of headers. Obviously, we'd like to see that be a little bit better. He only stands at 6 foot, so not really sure what to expect of him. But Manfred Hector, hopefully we'll be seeing more playing time next year. Paul Henrich, I really like this guy. I think that next to Gindorf, he was one of our best acquisitions. $135,000, has a total of 13 goals over the last 3 seasons as a midfielder. Occasional, well, he did play quite a bit at the number. We had that dual 10 in our 4-2-2-2 this past season. I think it really benefited him. 5 goals, 1 assist. In the league, slightly underperformed his XG, but I feel like he got his goals when we really needed them the most. I won 75% of his tackles, which is also pretty good for an offensive player. He's another one who's also natural at the midfield position. He did play there one time this past year, to Midland results, but I think we were kind of moving things around in order to try to do something late in a game because we didn't really play anybody in the central midfield. It was just the DMs and the attacking center mids. So who knows? Lucas Hoffman is back from he's on loan currently at Reutinghausen. Expect him to be back next year. He's going to be 19 years old in the middle of September. Made 17 appearances in the Dritte Liga, picked up a goal. Decent average rating for an okay team. He's primarily a winger, which is not a position that we are currently playing. And they had him playing at the DM, which he can kind of play. I think he's accomplished there. Lucas Hoffman's another one of those utility guys that just could absolutely come in handy. Maximilian Holmes, I was excited when I picked him up, and I've never felt comfortable playing him. He spent the year out on loan at ELVERSBERG in the Dritte Liga. I mean, he was an absolute bang-on starter for them. 30 starts, 1 relief appearance, a 6.64 average rating with 74% tackles won and 47% of his clearances. And as we look at, and he won 69% of his headers. So that really doesn't scream a guy to me that we absolutely positively need to have on this squad. I'm always hesitant to get rid of people because as others age out, don't really have the pipeline to replenish them. Hopefully we will. I mean, our youth intake this year was better than before, but still not great. And I'll be the first to admit I'm terrible at actually analyzing the 15-year-olds that come through. Figuring out which guys could potentially really be good aside from what my scouts and my coaches are telling me. So too long, didn't read. I just don't know what the future holds. So selling a guy like Holmes, I'm a little hesitant to do so because what if we need him someday? Marin Klaric made 7 appearances for us last year in relief. But he only played 4 in a position. I'm not quite sure how that works. But the 18-year-old Croatian, I think he's got a future here. I kind of like what he could potentially bring. I'm gonna try him out in a couple of different places next year if we don't end up sending him out on a development loan. Ohene Cole, I don't know if I gave him the chance that he really needed to have. The 24-year-old Ghanaian striker, 14 appearances, just scored the 1 goal, had 3 assists. I mean, he was decent. 50% shots on target is pretty darn good. I mean, maybe he gets more playing time next year. I just felt like I wanted to try to have as set a lineup as possible. Obviously, I didn't do such a good job with that, but that was my goal. But we got a lot of guys who can play striker. One of them is Dominik Martinovic. We tried to get rid of him. We were unsuccessful. The 31-year-old made 5 appearances in the league somehow. He managed to get his way in there every once in a while. He did score a pair of goals and 1 in the Pokal. So 3 goals in 7 appearances overall. So he was rather prolific in a part-time setting, but when he gets opportunities game in and game out, I have just felt like he just is not consistent enough. And I feel like it's really obvious when Martinovic is off. Marvin Houston, 8 goals, 4 assists. I believe he was our top-scoring striker. That may have been Angelos Stavridis, so don't hold me to that. We kind of moved in between the 2 roles. He primarily played in that advanced forward. He was really good for us. 7 goals, 3 assists. We need more from him, though. 55% shots on target, not bad. Decent passing percentage. He even managed to complete 73% of his tackles. Did overperform his XG. I would have liked to have seen him overperform a little bit more. And he was only named man of the match 3 times, including in the DFB Pokal. I just need to see more from the 21-year-old. I think he gave us more in this stint with the club than he did the first time he was here, and that's very good. Joshua Mees, he was a backup man. He was kept on just to be an experienced body on the bench. He made 14 appearances for us, did not really contribute, didn't really play all that great. He'll be around next year unless we decide to move him on. I can't imagine he is going to get a ton of playing time. However, Lennart Niederlander, on loan with us this year and last year, joining us permanently finally in the summer. 32 appearances, 2 goals, 3 assists, playing the more defensive of our defensive midfielder positions. I feel like he was really solid. Completed 92% of his passes in the league. 72% of his tackles. That's kind of what we want. I mean, if you benchmark him against other defensive midfielders, though, progressive passes, top of the charts. Passes completed, 93%, way up there. Losing possession, he's actually pretty good. He loses possession better than, say, 65% of the league. Wins possession back about 90% of the time. Wins about tackles, in the 80th plus percentile, 80th plus in pressures attempted and headers won. All in all, a good piece of business in bringing in Lennart Niederlander. Long may he reign. Noah Perner. Yeah, I just don't know. 13 finishing, 13 dribbling kind of caught my attention when he was available. This was one of those just trying to bring in bodies of guys that we could play based on the restrictions we set on ourselves, and he did not get any playing time last year. I don't know if he's going to get any this year either. Ramazan Agun came through our youth intake a couple of years ago. He is a left back / central midfielder. We've primarily been playing him as a left back. He just made the one appearance in relief. Was pretty good. To make a relief appearance for this club and get a 7 rating tells me that he did something well. He just needs to continue to develop and get better. His marking, tackling aren't all that great. We just need to improve him wherever we can. Frederick Rechtenwald, bit of a loose cannon. I felt like he did pick up a red card. Maybe he picked up a red card pretty early in the year. Made 4 starts, 4 relief appearances when Manuel File was injured. Did pick up the 1 goal, a 6.87 rating. Not too bad. He was better on the left side than he was on the right. He would sometimes come in and spell Darkhan Akhmedov. Yannick Rochelt. I feel like Yannick Rochelt should have had a better season than he did. 4 goals, 6 assists. Not bad. Underperformed his XG. Passing at 85% should have been better as a guy who was playing primarily in a playmaker type role. Having a rating of just under 7, though, for a mid-table team, I guess that really wasn't that bad. He ended up making 12 appearances at striker, did score 3 goals, but then he scored 2, and I felt like he played better. I mean, he picked up most of his assists while playing in that attacking midfield position, so I think he's going to kind of stay in that type of role for next year. Moritz Ruffing made 4 sub appearances. I wanted to see more of him. I don't know why I didn't do it. I really don't, because I think he's got a ton of promise. His tackling ability is fantastic. He's great in the air. He's got decent aggression. Having all these mentals all in double digits is just so very rare in a player from Saarland, and he's 6'4". But I guess with Zentner and Adieli and Zickinger in front of him, he just did not have a ton of opportunities. Alex Schaefer, 2 goals in 14 total appearances as a striker, most of them in relief. He was okay. He's still learning. Let's just say that. He is still learning a little bit more on the diminutive side, so he's not really going to be getting up in the air, getting those headers. Only 5'9", and he's not the fleetest of foot. He's slightly above average with his pace and acceleration, his technique. He's just good overall, but he's a nice young player to have around. Keen Shear. I love this guy. Only the 1 goal, 1 assist in 17 total appearances, a 6.72 average rating. But I just felt like when he was on the pitch, he was ready, willing, and able to try to make something happen. And I think of all of our players that we brought in this past year and a half period where I was just buying whoever I could, I think Shear may be the best pickup. He's 20 years old, learning how to run through with the ball through the center, which is good because he is a central player. We also want him to get forward whenever possible because when he acts as like a third striker, he can be quite deadly. Patrick Schmidt did not play. Did not intend for him to play, was trying to sell him all year, waiting for him to retire. Bye. Lucas Schnellbacher made 0 appearances because if I trust Martinovic very little, I trust Schnellbacher even less. He is still around for another year. We were trying to sell him all last year. Let's see if we can offload him in this coming year. I'm not holding my breath, though. Samir Shaheen, our top paid player, 1 goal, 5 assists from a slightly more attacking defensive midfield position. I think for the most of the year, he was a segundo volante on support. 29 starts, average rating over 7, not much more I could ask for. 90% passing, 71% tackle win ratio. That could have been better, but he is a leader on the pitch. I believe he's our assistant captain or our vice captain. Pretty good. He's got some value to him. I'm sure people want him. I'm not ready to divest ourselves of him because he is good. Carlo Zickinger surprised me. I feel like he had a very solid year. Did not really contribute offensively. He had the 1 goal in the DFB Pokal match, and that was it. He kind of rotated between center back and DM, mostly as a center back. Having a rating over 7 in both positions, I will take that, to be honest with you. Trying to phase him out a little bit. He's 30 years old and our captain, but I really wanted to get playing time to Adieli and Zentner. Angelo Stavridis, though, was my personal player of the season. Made 21 starts as a striker, 8 sub-appearances in the league and in the cup, 6 goals, 1 assist. Would have expected more assists because he was playing more of a deep-lying forward role, so he was more of the setup guy than the finishing guy. But it always seemed like if we needed a goal in stoppage time in the second half, Angelos Stavridis was there to give it to us. So I was very happy with him this year. I'm glad we finally gave him a chance. Hopefully he'll get an opportunity next year. And I believe, finally, Robin Zentner. We're not going to go over the youth guys. Robin Zentner, again, did not contribute offensively. But, I mean, having a rating hovering around 7. He did play a little bit at the DM position, once as a starter and once in relief. He was primarily a center back, primarily a partner with Adieli, sometimes with Zickinger if Adieli was playing right wing back, perhaps. 6'4", still getting better in a lot of ways, a potential future leader. I think he is going to be good. He's only 19 years old. He is on the up. They say he's a little injury prone, and he did miss some time this year with an injury, gashed lower leg, kept him out for 11 days, missed 3 weeks with a twisted ankle, and then 6 days with a twisted knee. But the $62,000 we paid for him, I feel like has been worth it. He has contributed on the pitch. So there we have. Oh, let's look to see how everybody did in the league. Well, the Zweite Bundesliga we've already kind of looked at. We were in 10th. Köln going up as champions. Bochum going up as well. Kaiserslautern was in that promotion playoff. Obviously, spoilers, they did not win. Karlsruhe and Holstein Kiel have been relegated to the Dritte Liga. Braunschweig managed to win their relegation playoff. This one against Arminia Bielefeld, 2-1 on aggregate. So they lost 1-0 in the one match, won the second leg 2-0. And I feel like the teams won on each other's pitches, which was pretty interesting. So Braunschweig is going to remain in the Zweite Bundesliga next year. as will Kaiserslautern, because Darmstadt was able to beat them and retain their place in the Bundesliga, which was, surprise, surprise, won by Bayern Munich. Champions League spots going to RB Leipzig, Bayer Leverkusen, and Borussia Dortmund. The Europa League will be represented by Eintracht Frankfurt, as well as Stuttgart. Stuttgart, I believe, in 11th place in the Europa League. They must have won the DFB Pokal. And Freiburg is going to the Europa Conference League. We will be joined next year in the Zweite Bundesliga by Paderborn and Union Berlin. So 2 Berlin sides in our league next year. And coming up from the Dritte Liga, Bayern 2 won it again. They cannot be promoted. So it's going to be Ingolstadt and Jan Regensburg coming back up. Regensburg, I know, only spent the 1 year down there, and I think Ingolstadt as well. Meanwhile, SV Waldorf, SC Verl, Erzgebirge, and Rodinghausen are all going down. I don't love the fact that I had players out on loan to the teams that got relegated. So there you have it. Season 6 is coming up tomorrow. I do feel like this is going to be... I know I said this year, but I think I've got in mind a tactical idea. And it's not like a crazy tactical idea, but one of the things that I feel like we have not been doing is, so we've been kind of like filling... This year I designed the tactic, the 4-2-2-2, around the fact that we had X number of strikers, X number of midfielders, X number of DMs, and I didn't want to go 3 at the back again because I felt like that thinned us out too much. We didn't really have enough support for the 3 guys off of the bench. But it really wasn't based on what can our players do. And I felt like I ended up shoehorning some guys in the spots. Yannick Rochelt being a perfect example of a guy who can play the 10, but he's not really supposed... Like, he's better at other places. And I had a lot of midfielders I didn't know really what to do with. So I have an idea where we're going to take our best players and put them in a position to succeed. So we'll go over that when we start the season. This video has already been long enough. Thank you so very much. If you made it this far, all I can say is thank you. I never think of something to ask you before I get to this point. And when I get to this point, my mind just goes blank. So thank you very much for being here. Make sure you hit like on the video. Let the algorithm pick it up and have this series be seen by many, many more people so they can enjoy it like you are. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for the start of season number 6. I've got optimism. I'm taking it into tomorrow's episode, I promise. Until then, bye-bye.